In Chapter 12 of All Quiet on the Western Front, autumn begins, and Paul Bäumer notes that he's the last of the 7 from his class left alive. There are rumors that a truce is coming, one that will bring an end to the war. Paul believes that if this doesn't happen soon, the soldiers will revolt. Paul's given 14 rest days. He contemplates the fact that there was a point at which, if they had returned home earlier, he and his comrades could have created some kind of change in the world. But now he believes the surviving soldiers are weary, broken, burnt out, rootless, and without hope. We will not be able to find our way anymore. Paul believes that no one will understand what they've been through. And what's more, the war will be forgotten by those who didn't fight in it, while those who did have been ruined by it. Alone and without hope, Paul thinks that nothing more can be taken from him because he has already given all he has. At this, the end of the novel, a new narrator takes Paul's place and informs the reader that Paul is killed, saying, "He fell in October of 1918 on a day that was so quiet and still on the whole front that the Army report confined itself to the single sentence, 'All quiet on the Western Front.'" In death, Paul's face had an expression of calm, as though almost glad the end had come. In this final chapter, Paul sees that the soldiers are finally at their breaking point and will likely revolt if conditions don't change soon. Now that his friends are all gone, it begins to dawn on him how little meaning his life has without them to buoy his spirits. He seems to understand how frozen the veterans of World War I will be after the war ends, because they won't be able to move on, nor will they be understood by non-veterans. The war has destroyed their minds, bodies, and souls. A third-person narrator briefly provides the last lines of the novel after Paul has died, attaching no emotions to the outcome of Paul's death, merely reporting it in an impartial way. The narrator tells nothing of how Paul died or who he was. He's treated as just another casualty of the war, his life destroyed in the blink of an eye. Paul's death is a tragic example of situational irony, in which there's a startling difference between what actually happens and what's expected to happen. Paul dies on a quiet, peaceful day on the front. Surprising, given how many times he's narrowly escaped death during combat in the past. It's a cruel twist of fate that his death occurs just a month before the war is over.